morning. Welcome to April 28th. This is a Frazzlog. Frazzlog's being a data entry into what could be possibly the end of humanity. For all we know right now. For all we know right now. You. Only you. You could be the last human. And I could be relaying a message to you, of course. Now, what that means here, somewhere in history, humanity made a mistake. And I think that shouldn't have happened. So, I'm here to deliver the message to you. The message is, apple pie yogurt is pretty damn good. I haven't had it in a while, so I figured I'd try it out again. It's kind of frozen. Is that what it is? Frozen, or is it just solid? It tastes really good, but it's kind of solid. I think it's frozen, to be honest. Alright, so what's going on, man? Like I said, it's April 29th. Or 20th, I think, yeah. And, yeah, Saturday. Believe it or not. Or no, technically it's Sunday now. Yeah. Because today is the, well, today is a morning, yeah. And it's pretty cool, dude. I gotta say, I'm really liking this future. Like, for all you know, no, technically this is in the past when you're gonna be watching this, because when I upload this later today, no, is it? Yeah, it'll be in the past. So, by the time this is uploaded, it'll probably be like 6 or 7 hours from now. I want to give it a rough estimate. So, if you're watching this, man, you've survived the trials of time. You've survived a couple hours longer, and for all we know, that could have been enough. Those couple hours could be the cure to all of the problems in the world. Okay? Now, I don't know what the hell you think you're talking about here, guy, but that's not acceptable where I come from. No, sirree, that is not acceptable. So anyways, what's going on, dude? No, actually I don't have a topic planned. I think earlier, or Saturday morning, I talked about how I had a bunch to talk about. There was that granola bar, I talked about that. Talked about Batman. You know, I've been watching, actually, is Batman Beyond. Probably one of my favorite cartoons when I was younger. I don't know. It was on, I would watch it every Saturday morning on, I think, WB or something, or Fox. I think it was WB. And it was really good. It was really good. The action was pretty cool. The main character's a badass teenage kid. He's kind of like, he's not about popularity. He's not about being cool. In fact, he actually hangs out with a lot of the douchebag, like, dorky kids or whatever. Very positive influence on a lot of kids, I think. And the cool thing about that show is it was pretty dark. You know, I can't remember other shows back then, but they've killed people off. And they imply in the last episode I watched, it was like season 2 episode 20-something. Well, first off, Terry, like the new Batman, he's fighting these 4 kids that have like they've been surgically manipulated with technology to have like weapons built into them. So like this one guy has whips that shoot out of his arms, this other guy has chainsaws that come out of his knees, another guy builds like a shield around himself, so on. Well, Terry ends up like fighting these guys. He figures out how to beat them, and you find out that these kids were like blackmailing the doctor, and they like basically took the dude's wife hostage, and they were like, "We'll give you her back if you make us strong." And until we know we're strong enough, we're gonna keep using you, basically. So by the end of the episode, Terry lets one of the kids get away or whatever, or he escapes, and the doctor, he figures out that his wife that was kidnapped was actually fooling him all along. She was with those guys, and she was even dating the leader of their group. So the leader that escaped, the doctor captures, and at this point, the bad guy doesn't realize that the doctor knows this shit, So he's like believing the doctor. He's like he puts his complete trust in the doctor, and the doctor's just like, yeah, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. We're gonna take real good care of you. And they're implying that he's gonna like kill this kid when he's like surgically asleep or whatever, which is pretty fucked up. Ends with like him taking his drill gun to the camera. What's another fucked up thing? I know they've killed off a bunch of characters. There's always a lot of child abuse in that show. There's an episode where they're basically depriving these kids of sleep so they can... I don't really know what the end goal of that was. They're trying to make these kids behave by making it so they can't sleep, and they're just abusing these kids mentally. And there's a lot of diversity in the villains, I guess you would say. Because they're not like super villains or anything. They're just kind of like city villains. It's weird. You know, it's just like a kid, like a normal kid could become a villain if he's exposed to the right stuff. Whereas the original Batman series was more about like, not super villains quite, like there were super villains, but a lot of them used a lot of technology. And these guys are all purely technology for the most part. There's a couple that aren't, but most of them get their powers through technology, which is pretty sweet. Now, I don't know how long... I think this show takes... It's in the future, hover cars and everything, but, like... It must be, like, 40 years after... I think it's 30 or 40 years after Batman the Animated Series, which is pretty cool, because it kind of throws back a lot of cameos and Easter eggs. It really makes me want to go back and watch the old Batman animated show. But I'm almost finished with Batman Beyond. I'll probably talk about it a little more. But I think it's a really good show. If you have Netflix, go watch it out. Go check it out. It's good background noise at the very least. But in the end, though, it's still a comic book series, which means bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. All right. The main characters usually never die. Main characters usually never die, and villains usually never perma-die, which is always gay. So that's the Frazzlog. What time is it? 7. Okay, we got 1 second.